Hey there! Welcome back to Cooking with AJMR. I am your host, Chef AJMR, and in today's video I will be showing you guys how to cook the second dish of my senior project, which is una ensalada de papa. That translates to a potato salad, by the way. Now, traditionally, una ensalada de papa is most commonly made for get-togethers and parties in the Colombian culture. And although I don't really eat this dish very much, I can recall some instances where I've eaten it both at family-related events and gatherings. Alright, with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and move on to the ingredients section of this cooking tutorial video. Okay, so the necessary ingredients that I will be using during this cooking tutorial video are as follows. We first have some potatoes here, then we have some eggs, some peas and carrots, diced up pieces of onion and cilantro, some black pepper, salt, mayo, mustard, and cream milk. Although there are multiple ways to make a delicious tasting potato salad with other ingredients mixed in, I'm just going to keep it simple for both myself and the viewers. Alright, now that I have listed out all the ingredients that I'm going to be using, let's start with the first step of making our ensalada de papa.
The next day.
Okay, so the first step in our cooking tutorial video is washing our peas and carrots with water, seeing as they could still be frozen together as they were in the freezer. So all we'd have to do is just pour our peas and carrots into this little bowl right here and make sure we get all of it out, as so. I think I can pour a little more. Hold on. Alright, I'm just going to add a little bit more, as so. And now we're just going to wash it out, as so. Since I poured some more peas and carrots, some of them are more frozen than others, so just to make sure that they aren't stuck together. And then once you feel like you've cleaned out the peas and carrots well enough, you can just let them sit there to dry, and then we can move on to our next step, which is actually peeling the potatoes and chopping them into pieces. But don't worry, we will be coming back to the peas and carrots eventually. Well then, the next step of our cooking tutorial video is actually taking our 3 potatoes. You guys can also use more if you'd like, but I'm just gonna use 3 for this cooking tutorial video. Our next step is going to be peeling off the skin of all the potatoes. Now, my mentor is actually skilled enough to peel off the skin with a knife, but I'm definitely not skilled like her, so I'm going to be using a peeler. So I'm just going to show you guys me peeling off the skin of one of the potatoes, and then I'll just jump straight to when I have the other 2 peeled already. I'm also going to put a little plastic bag here for any garbage or scraps that I make during this cooking tutorial video, so I don't have to worry about cleaning while I'm actually making the food. So yeah, let's get started. I also wanted to point out, whenever you guys are peeling off the skin of a potato, if you guys see any of these areas that are like spotted, or areas that the knife or the peeler here wasn't able to get off on the first go, just go ahead, whenever you have the chance, just go ahead and peel off those parts right there, and then you should be good. Just make sure you get rid of all those little small brown spots all around the potato. So yeah. Alright, I think that should be good for our first potato on all sides. And let's just go ahead and pick up all the scraps, or Actually, I'll just leave them there for now since I'm gonna go ahead and do the other 2 potatoes. But just so you guys don't have to watch it, I'll just cut to when I have the other 2 fully peeled off. So let's just jump straight to that. Alright, it's been about like 5-ish minutes. I finished peeling all 3 of the potatoes. We are now ready to move on to the next step of our potatoes, which is actually cutting them up into small pieces. Getting the first potato ready, you can go ahead and actually start cutting the potato like so. We also don't want to cut them too thin. Like, we want to cut some thick pieces of the potato. So. Oh, I can do that too. I can do that too. That. Alright. Now that we've cut down our potato into different individual pieces, we will now cut them down into smaller pieces. So, line them up like that. And then have it like so. And then we just repeat this process for all the other pieces of potato we just finished cutting. But I also want to mention, don't forget to actually wash the potatoes after you freshly peeled them. But if you do forget, you don't have to worry because we will eventually soak these small potato pieces into water as well. Once you have all your pieces, although I still have the other 2 to cut, you can put these potato pieces that are now chopped up into a little bowl as we wait to finish cutting the other 2, and then we can move on to our next step of making, or at least having ready, our potato slices for the Ensalada de Papa. As I mentioned earlier, once you have all your potato pieces ready, you can go ahead and put them in a bowl like this one. Be careful, make sure none of the pieces fall out, but if they do, that's okay. That. Last one. And then we'll repeat this process of putting the potato pieces into this little bowl right here with the other 2 potatoes that I have left to cut. Alright, now that we have all of our potato pieces ready to go, we can go ahead and start filling the bowl up with water. Almost to the top, but not entirely. We'll leave it like that. It just has to have the potato pieces submerged in the water, and then we can go ahead and move on to the stove. Okay, so now that the bowl is full with the potato pieces and with the water inside, we can add salt to the top, just as so. Around here, like that, I would say. And then we're going to hold off for now because I actually want to cook the potato pieces and the eggs at the same time. I'm going to cook the eggs over there. And since they both take around 15 minutes to get ready, I'm going to hold off for now on the potato pieces and move on to the next part or step of this cooking tutorial video, which has to do with the eggs. So let's get right to that. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do with our eggs is actually put them in this little pan right here. And then we're going to carefully insert the eggs without dropping them because that would break them, of course, since they are very fragile. And then we're going to start filling up the pan with a little bit of water as well. Not entirely, but with the eggs mostly submerged. Somewhere around there. Let me add a little bit more. Just like that. And then we can carefully take this pan filled with the eggs submerged in the water over to the stove as well. Now that we have our eggs on the stove here ready to boil, we're also going to add a little bit of salt as well to the eggs. Like that. And now we can do two steps at the same time, which is cooking both the eggs and the potato pieces over here at the same amount of time, which would be around 15 minutes. So let's go ahead and do both things. The temperature I would put both the potato pieces and the eggs for would be around somewhere less than the highest temperature. I would probably put it between 8 and 7, and we're going to do that for both. And although some steam will produce in the air, it should be fine, but we should just leave both of these items there on the stove for around 15 minutes. So I'll get back to all you guys when both items are ready. Alright guys, so it's already been around 15 minutes or so. As you can obviously tell, there's steam coming out. So the 15 minutes have already passed, and we can now move on to the next step, which is actually removing the hot water from the eggs and then letting them cool down for around 5 minutes with cold water and some ice. So let's move on to that part. Alright, so we're going to carefully remove the hot water by carefully pouring it out to the side here. Little fun fact, my mentor told me that it's a good idea to clean out any sponges that you use for dishwashing with the hot water. So there's a little fun tip for you. Make sure the eggs don't slip out. Just take out as much hot water as you can, somewhere around there, seeing as there's barely any of the hot water left. And then we're just going to fill it up with cold water. And I'm actually going to personally take the camera here. Now with the cold water, we're going to put some ice in. There we are. We have a little bit of ice there. Let's go ahead and put a little bit more. There, that should be good. And then we're just gonna let the eggs cool off there for about 5 minutes. And once the 5 minutes are over, I'm actually going to start cutting the eggs that should have a hard-boiled interior by now. And then we will move on to the next steps of our cooking tutorial video. But before I forget, we're also going to remove the potato pieces off the stove, and we're going to need somewhere to place them. I'm going to use this little container here. We're going to put the peas and carrots to the side here as well, and we're going to dump the potato pieces into here, being careful not to burn ourselves, holding this so. Okay. That is all the pieces, and we can put this pot aside now. And with our potato pieces ready, we're also going to let them cool down. I'd probably say a little bit longer compared to the eggs. I would say around 10 minutes to cool off. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just put the pieces outside since it's actually chilly out today. Okay, so now that we have finished cooking our eggs and our potato pieces on the stove for the 15 minutes I had them cooking, after we finish waiting for the eggs to cool off after the 5 minutes, first I'm going to peel off the actual eggshells, and then with the hard-boiled interior, I will cut them up into small pieces And then we will wait for the potato pieces to actually cool off as well. And then once we have all of our ingredients ready, then all we'd have to do is just mix all the other ingredients up. And then after that, we'll be done. Okay, so now that the eggs have cooled off after the 5 minutes, we can go ahead and remove them from the water, as well as let them dry off a little bit. And once they have dried off, we will then proceed to crack the shells so that we can remove the actual shell and get to the hard-boiled interior. So we'll just crack it on multiple sides, as so. And then we can just start removing the skin. Alright, once we remove the actual eggshell from the eggs, we will then repeat this process for the other two. And I'm just going to speed it up for you guys so you don't have to watch me do the whole thing. Well, as you guys can see, I have now finished taking off the shells of all 3 eggs, but some were definitely more successful than others. This was my first egg, and it's never looked like this, I promise. This is the first time this has ever happened. This was the second egg, and this was the third egg. So I guess third time's a charm. But yeah, now that we have the eggs ready, we can now start cutting them into small pieces using a big knife, and then we can start mixing all the ingredients together. I also went ahead and brought in the potato pieces. They have actually cooled off now, so we're just going to put them to the side, and we're now going to start on cutting the eggs. Alright, well, now, as you can see, I have cut up all the hard-boiled eggs into small bits and pieces. And now that we are done with this part, we can now move on to, I would say, the last section of this cooking tutorial video, which is taking all these ingredients, including the hard-boiled egg pieces, the potato pieces, the peas and carrots, and all the other ingredients, and mixing them all together. And then we will be done. Alright, so now we are on the final step of making our ensalada de papa, which once again is just mixing all the ingredients that we have ready. We can first start by dumping our pieces of potato into this little container right here, as such. Let me grab this right here. If there are any pieces that are left in the bowl, move them as such, and then we can go ahead and also add the pieces of egg into it, so. Toss them in there, and then we don't need the cutting board anymore. Then we can go ahead and add the peas and carrots, such as that. Any that remain, that. And then mix it up a little bit there. We can also bring in the diced up pieces of onion and pour them in as well. Let's grab, oh, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. If there's any onion left, go ahead and take it out, as so. That. And leaving the bowl empty. And we can set it aside. And then we can start adding all the other ingredients, such as the mayo, the cream milk, the mustard, and the black pepper on top of all of it. And we're actually going to save the pieces of cilantro for last. We're going to sprinkle them on top. We're going to take out, let's say, around 3 or 4 scoops around this size of mayo, and I would say put it around all 4 sides as such. And then we can go ahead and add some mustard as well. I'm gonna make sure the mustard is shooken up. I think that's good. And then we're going to pour la crema de leche, which is the cream milk, all over it. Oh, huge blob there. Make sure all of it is out. Using this little spoon. Okay. And then we can go ahead and put some black pepper on top of all of it. That, let's say around there. And then finally, all we'd have to do is just stir the contents. As such, make sure every area is covered. Make sure no area is left out. I'm also going to give it a small taste test to see if it needs anything like more salt or more pepper or anything along the lines. Might need a little bit more salt. It tastes a little bit bland. Alright guys, well it looks like I've finished. Here is the finished product of the Ensalada de Papa. The only thing we have to do now is just let the Ensalada de Papa sit in the freezer for a little bit, and then we'll just add the cilantro on top, and then we'll be finished. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go put this in the freezer. We're going to wait about, I'd say, maybe 10 minutes for it to cool down, and then we'll be done with this video. Alright, so now it's been around, I would say 10 minutes after putting the potato salad or the ensalada de papa in the freezer. Now all we have to do is just take these little itty bits of cilantro and just sprinkle them all around. Since I recorded the ingredients section yesterday, the cilantro was a little bit dry, so I wanted to add a little bit of water to the cilantro. But yeah. All we have to do now is just sprinkle a little bit of cilantro on top, as so. Okay, so now as you guys can see, I have now sprinkled the salt to the majority of the bowl of the ensalada de papa. And now we're done. So yeah, that concludes our second cooking tutorial video. And yeah, see here, this is what it looks like. And now it's ready to be eaten by others, including myself, whether it be at parties or get-togethers or whatever other special occasion that ensalada de papas would be served at. So yeah. As of right now, we are finished. Alright, so it looks like we have completed yet another cooking session where we have ended up with a potato salad for people to eat during parties and get-togethers, meaning that no one gets left out. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this cooking tutorial video. Please let me know down in the comments if you guys are willing to try making a potato salad or an ensalada de papa using the steps I provided. For our next cooking session, I will show you guys how to make una sopa de sancocho, which is a popular Colombian soup that has rice, potatoes, meat, corn, etc. Although this decision isn't 100% finalized, I was thinking that my goal for these cooking channels is to release a new cooking tutorial video every month. So in December, I'll make another cooking video, as well as in January and February. Seeing as now that I've completed 2 dishes for my senior project, that means I will have 3 more. So if I'm able to film the 3 other cooking tutorial videos every month, then I should be done by either February or March. Well, anyways, I want to thank you guys once again for being so patient with me, seeing as, once again, these cooking tutorial videos will take some time to upload, seeing as I do need to take the necessary steps to learn how to cook these dishes that I'm going to make and provide tutorials for you guys. Well, with all that being said, thank you guys once again for watching the video. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this type of content. Happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!